Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Well, every year at this time, we get a visit from the women. Women in management, business, and public service. They call themselves WimBiz, and they're gearing up for their 18th annual conference, which is taking place on the 7th and 8th of this month. That's next week.
Yeah.
This year's conference is Shaping the Future, Strategizing to Win. What does that mean? Well, they're here. We'll ask the WimBiz crew. We have the chairperson, the WimBiz Executive Council, Mrs. Olubunmi Talabi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for
lovely to be here.
visiting us again this year.
It's always a pleasure.
We also have Tosin Adefeko, who's an associate. Morning.
Happy to be here.
And we have a member of the Executive Council, Audrey Jo Eziwo.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Thank you all very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Every year at about this time, you come and give us some information which women find very useful. Some of them decide to join you at your conference.
And the men decide to send their women or to keep or to hold them back. Or come by themselves, yeah.
Yeah, and join the conversation.
Some of them follow you on social media, and it seems that people always get value from these conferences. So is it going to be the same thing this year?
Yes, yes. I remember, well, I'll always remember the story of one lady. I sat next to her at lunch some conferences ago, and she says she never jokes with the WimBiz annual conference, that whenever it's time, she always clears the 2 days and she makes sure she attends. And I said, oh, why? Said she runs, her first business was a hair salon, and she was losing money hand over fist. And she couldn't quite put her, she couldn't quite figure out why and where the leakage was coming from. And she attended a finance deep dive at a WimBiz annual conference, maybe like 5-6 years ago. And she said she put into practice what she learned from that workshop. A deep dive is essentially a workshop. And she applied it when she opened her second business, which was a restaurant. Yeah, the first one was a hair salon. The second one was a restaurant. And she said because of the difference that she saw, she takes the WimBiz conference very, very seriously, and she's always there. And this year, she's coming with, I think she said, either 4 or 5 members of her staff.
Who themselves are looking to be entrepreneurs, I suppose.
Perhaps, or I think it's the shared learning, so that what she hears, they hear, and they can all collectively go back, and apply.
Okay. Audrey, why this theme this year, Shaping the Future, Strategizing to Win?
Well, we believe that the time has never been as imperative as it is now for women to very carefully and intentionally, figure out what it is they want to achieve in business, whether you're in management, business, or public service, and then come up with clear-cut strategies to help them to do just that. I mean, the world is changing very rapidly, and even here in Nigeria, we see there's a lot of moving parts. So business as usual just doesn't work anymore. So this is us trying to say to women, come to the table. We've thought through exactly the kinds of issues we're grappling with, and we're bringing speakers and resource persons who will be helping you to fashion out intentional strategies to make sure that you make a difference in your business and your career going forward.
It's all about designing the future
That's
you
right,
want.
that you
and
want.
Stop being reactionary. Take the bull by the horns, as it were, and hit
And
that
what if
target.
the bull doesn't want you to touch his hand?
In life, you have to take proactive steps to get to where you feel you need to get to for yourself, for your
That's
family,
right.
for your community.
That's right.
I like the word you chose, intentional. So let me bring it to you here, the associate Tosin. How intentional are you about this conference?
That's the perfect question for me, because I'll tell you, before I served on the conference planning group this year, I've never missed a conference for 8 years. So since WimBiz came into my consciousness, I've always made sure, regardless of what I was doing, like Bumi said earlier on, I clear my table for the 2 days of the WimBiz conference. Now, how has that affected me personally? I worked in a career for almost 20 years. And I think even the exposure to the WimBiz platform in terms of making me emboldened to decide to become an entrepreneur, I got from there. So just before we came in, I've never met Mrs. Ezigbo, but I was telling her a story about how at the last year's conference, I met the keynote speaker, and that was Mr. Austin Okere. I hope he's watching so that he can thank me. So he made such an impression on me that I was like, who's this guy? I've heard his name in the business space, but the impression he made that day made me to pursue him and literally say, I need to meet him. Guess what? He runs an entrepreneurial college called Also Leadership Academy. And what did I do? I said, I want to attend one of the sessions, one of the free sessions. The day I went into that session, I'm like, well, this is the place I've been looking for now. Because having worked in the corporate world for almost 20 years, honestly, even as an entrepreneur, it's a totally different experience being an entrepreneur. So I thought I didn't know what I was doing, honestly. And what they did there was to basically frame my journey for me. And quite coincidentally, even though I was working on my dining, and honestly wanting to remain on that dining because I was afraid of going to rent a space and having the responsibility of paying stuff. But after I met with that college and Austin's teachings and trainings, in a week, I called the person that had been offering me a space and I said, I'm ready to rent that office. She was there yesterday. I've showed her all the videos this morning. We opened shop yesterday. So it's
Only yesterday.
only yesterday, 2 years after I started the journey, because I met someone at the WimBiz conference last year that propelled me into thinking bigger than I was doing. I don't know how else to tell this story than you have to make, you said intentional, you have to be intentional, you have to be deliberate, you have to go out of your way to look for the knowledge that can impact your own life. How else can you get it if you don't come to a gathering of over 2,000 women, successful women, growing women, leading women, whatever you want to call it? I don't know how else. I don't know how people sit at home. Please, by all means. Yes, live stream.
That's right.
Yeah.
Again this year. Yeah.
Well, don't jump the gun yet. You still tell us about the live stream. But the question I would like to ask is, she's talked about the keynote speaker was a guy.
Yes.
So, obviously, guys are expected. They're free to come, right?
Of course.
Just like that.
Yes, it's a conversation. You need both sides. You need everybody at the table, not just one gender or another. We feel that the most gets done when you can collaborate effectively. And in fact, one of our sessions this year, the very first plenary session this year, is called Collaborating to Win. And that's actually being chaired by the chairman of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So we have 2 men on that panel and 2 women. And the idea is, talk to us about this concept of the All Boys Club. Is there really such a thing as the All Boys Club? How do we navigate the All Boys
Well, the
Club?
truth is, can I confess?
Go ahead.
There is no all boys club. Because those boys who are coming to sit down, guys, don't shoot me. All those boys, no, wait. Those boys who are coming to sit down to talk about things between themselves are powered from behind by their women. I'm sorry to say.
Well, that's a good point.
Guys, don't shoot me. I was only just.
Please shoot him.
But okay, so yes, the men are expected. Are they just expected to come sit down? Would there be something they can take away from there?
Oh, absolutely, because the conference this year is deliberately quite technical, in as much as we've designed each plenary and deep dive to have a practical element that you can literally go away and put into use. So last year's conference was very inspirational, and that's good because there's a place for that. But this year we deliberately went more technical because we wanted people to learn about retail maths, to learn about understanding consumer behavior, to learn about how to reach the unplugged. A lot of people think that everybody's on Instagram or everybody's on the internet. No, the vast majority of the market in Nigeria is still unplugged. It's still not on the internet. They don't have smartphones and so on. So if you're an entrepreneur, you have goods and services, and you're trying to reach a market, perhaps you're looking in the wrong place. So the idea is, come to the WimBiz annual conference, attend the session on reaching the unplugged, and find out.
How does one attend this conference?
Well, so our registrations have closed, except at the venue. So you can come in and register. And we're trying to make it easier for those who have pre-registered.
Closed.
No, I will explain.
How many more can you take on that day who come to the desk?
So right now we have about 1,600, a little over 1,600, and the hall can sit 2,000. So we're happy. Yes, but we're trying to make it a little easier so that registration process is not too cumbersome in the morning, because we always have people that show up on that day. So some people have pre-registered, and we're encouraging them to come in the evening before and get all their registration and conference materials dealt with. Okay. Otherwise, you can still register at the conference on that day.
Okay.
Well, we ask people to register at a discount
Yes.
for so long,
Yes.
for 65,000.
Yes, but
if they didn't take advantage of that, at the door
it's 80,000. You have to pay full price.
Now the right time to talk about live stream?
Yes. Yes, I think that's very important.
Yeah,
People who
so-
are not in
80,000
Lagos.
naira to show up on that day. You can still be part of the WimBiz
That's
conference
right.
by
Yeah, logging onto the live stream.
Live stream.
So
20,000.
It's 20,000 or $50 if you're
if you're
international,
outside the country.
Yeah.
Because there are people who are in different states, who are in Accra, in Ghana, whatever, they can't make it in. So we
I thought
stream.
that was free.
We stream.
Oh,
no. The live stream,
there's
the
a cost.
interactive live stream.
It's a small cost.
Yes. Has a charge. So they can actually participate as it happens. They can ask questions. They can hear their questions read and hear the answers and all that kind of stuff. So for all of the plenary. So it's like being there. And then they still have access to the content
After the conference.
after
For how
the
long
event.
after the conference?
I don't think there's a time
There's no
limit
time limit.
to it. Because
So as we speak, everybody has access. There's no limit to the number online,
No.
but there's a limit to the
the
physical,
physical
presence.
number, yeah,
So
that's capped at
the
2,000.
limit is about 400. Thereabouts. But I'm
Come
sure that
early.
right now there's some people already planning for that. So you can just be the first to get there. You might be able to get in, right? For 80,000 naira. And where is it happening?
It's happening at the Eco Hotel.
Eco Hotel and Suite
And
on the 7th
And
and
the
the 8th. You want to be a part of the WimBiz conference, don't miss this, both male and female. Guys, you will be glad your wife or woman went through this. And woman, you'll be glad you went through it. And drag the man along too. I mean,
So what time does it start on the 7th?
So our conferences always start at 8 a.m. sharp. Though the registration is open from about 7, is it?
Yes, we have, this year as well, we have the networking breakfast
Yes.
that starts
It
at
starts
7
at
a.m.
7
And that's
a.m.
for the really early birds, because we noticed that some people start arriving as early as 5 a.m., people that have come from a long way away. So we thought, well, rather than just having them sit there, let's organize something for them. So we organized the equivalent of something that's similar to speed. It's called speed networking, basically. And the idea is that within it's similar to, yes, but you'll meet other professionals, on average, maybe like between 15 and 20, depending on how smooth the table flows. And the idea is that do something productive with the first couple of hours that you're there waiting for the conference to start. And then also get a head start on meeting people. And so by the time you enter into the conference, there are friends that you've made and stuff like that. So it's a more comfortable experience
And to
all
add
around.
to that, it's also an opportunity for you to practice your
Elevator pitch. Yes.
What's that?
Well, because you're going to be wanting to network, right, during the conference. A lot of people want to meet other people during the conference. At the networking breakfast, you can practice your elevator pitch. If you don't want to walk up to someone and you're grappling with what to say to the person, the networking breakfast helps you.
Well, you used to be in PR, so
I'm still in PR.
oh, you are.
Yes.
Well, this shop you set up.
Yes, it's a PR firm.
Oh, fantastic!
It's a firm of
fantastic.
PR consultants.
Well, WimBiz conference, annual conference, 7th and 8th of November, Eco Hotels and Suites. You've missed the early bird, so you can go there on the 7th and register. You've got to get there very early in the morning because the session begins at 8 o'clock on the nose. And I can tell you, WimBiz does not do Nigerian time.
no African time.
So good luck, ladies.
Oh, yeah, but you
WimBiz.
talk about the online participation. You can be a part of it online. What's the site?
It's www.wimbiz.org/livestream registration.
www.wimbiz.org/livestream registration. That's 20,000 naira or $50 wherever you are around the world. You can join the conversation online, 7th and 8th.
Good. So good luck with your conference. Tosin Adefeko, WimBiz Associate, Audrey Jo Ezigbo, Executive Council Member, and Olubunmi Talabi, Chairperson, WimBiz. WimBiz Executive
Thank you.
Council.
Thank you. Thank you
Are
so
we going
much.
to be there?
Most likely.
We will be there.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Do a live broadcast from the
Okay,
conference.
then.
That'd be awesome.
See you in just a moment with the home stretch.
Indeed.